Greetings, time for another video. I've over the last three successive videos given you a presentation showing how that the history we're told is a lie, but it's time to get back to some of the more spiritual side of things again now. Still got plenty of material to look at the past because, as in the Ozzy Osbourne song, if you don't learn the lessons from the past, then we're just going to keep making the same mistakes. So in some ways it is important to look at what has happened in history, or the history we're given. But you'll find in all walks of life, every official organisation, the dark side, follow the same script as the secret Jesuit oath of infiltrating everything. That when you have a lie that elaborate and the sheer scale of it, you can't leave anything untouched. I happened to listen to part of Ranty's live broadcast yesterday, and there's a few arguments on there, and I'm thinking, well, why are they arguing when they're supposed to be on the same side? And the question of, was there trolls? Are they paid shills? Well, maybe there are, maybe there aren't. It would stand to reason there would be. But there's talking about the truth-seeking side. It's talking about, to get to the truth, it's like peeling back layers of an onion. And likewise with the spiritual side, there is a element of this as well. When you're trying to explain to people that this is just a projection, it's very sort of unnerving for them. And you have so many different levels to this. You've got your official dark side, which will be the narratives. Now, whether some of them are knowing or unknowing, it's repeated parrot fashion on this official narrative to keep this fake history going, which is used to disguise our ability to find our true power and our true selves. Amongst that element, those that are just being misled, you're then faced with another problem. In the academic circles, you've got the snobbery of, they say to you that they've spent X number of years getting a degree in whatever, and they've got all these initials after their name, so therefore they know more than you. But they clearly miss, it's interesting if you listen to these official narratives, how they trip themselves up. And the thought has never occurred to them to even really think about what they're even saying. So it sets in them this feeling of the logic interfering with their belief system. And this is true about so many things. And you then get this hostile reaction because they would rather defend it than realise they've wasted a large amount of time being misled. And it takes a very open and honest person to actually say, yeah. The biggest problem is, of course, that there are so few that are honest enough to do that in the first place. It does take a lot of effort, but a lot of it is tied into this, all these distractions that we're given as well. A lot of it, to me, sounds like white noise. It's just background noise, and the level of the conversations are so base and of no substance. And I did happen to hear one today, and she repeatedly reiterated the date that she started this job, and I thought, well, if you're not seeing any of the rest of it, then that is important to you, that you've managed to hold on to this job for so many years. But the substance of the conversation was just so mind-numbingly nothingness about it. And I can see where it's all coming from, because this world is just a continuous distraction of things, getting us to spend money, which means you've got to work more hours, and so on and so on. It's a vicious cycle, and to try and say, look, just switch off the idiot box in the corner, just disconnect from the whole lot, give it a week and allow your mind to rest. Because at the end of the day, this is all it is. In the physical form, you eat food. If you continuously eat food beyond what you actually need, then it's going to come out of one of two places, let's face it, at the end of the day. Now, when we're talking about the media, this is food for the mind. It's not in a physical form, it's in a verbal form. And of course, with that, it only comes out in one way, which is normally vocalized, which is why these clone versions and the sleep people will just babble. I've often half jokingly said the Tower of Babel didn't fall that long ago and the dust cloud must have got stuck in their throats. And it certainly seems to be that way. But it's a case of create the world around you. Well, disconnect from these people as much as possible. Because you just eventually you just hear what they're saying is nothing. And likewise, the ones that act or react out of anger, it's because they feel stupid, because you've put an idea in their head that had never occurred to them, which is so simple, and you've not gone through this elongated process of getting degrees of university to spot something that they hadn't. So they channel their anger out at you rather than being honest with themselves and dealing with it internally, because this is what it's all about. It's all about dealing with things internally. And from that, you can actually create the world around yourself, because, okay, we'll disconnect from these people. I'll have in my life the people I want to have in my life, and subject to the awful internet connection that's happening at the moment, then you can always message or even video call these people. Now, with the messaging and things, you're in total control of it. You can reply straight away if you can, or you can leave it for a while if you're busy doing something else. You have total control of when you respond. If you want to have a more a live conversation with these people, you can video call or you can phone call each other as well. And you can give as much time or as little time to it as you want and interact with that person on that level. There's so much emphasis placed purely on the 3D when there is so much more outside of the 3D. And I think it's important sometimes just to go outside in nature and just sit and actually switch off, because like the rest of this physical body, I don't see any harm in just sort of going almost into a sleep state, as it were, and just allowing all these ideas and things to just sort of turn over in your mind. It's a digestive process for the mind, basically. And it's the same, I've said this before, we're mind, body and soul. So what there is for one level, there is an equivalent in the other too. So anything to do with the mind, it also needs to be digested. So if you've got these great long presentations, and yes, the subjects can be very interesting in their own right, especially on the truth-seeking side. I'm as guilty of it as everybody else, because it is fascinating. And in some ways it is a way of switching off. But also, if I'm meant to see it, then that I'm being led down this path and I'm going to go with it anyway. If just to use go by the gut feeling, if something feels right, it is right, because that is your best guide every time. It doesn't even matter too much as to whether it's right or wrong. The fact that it can be put there as an idea, it's still valid. I listened to this conversation yesterday saying Madeleine McGann is just a photoshopped image. Well, I would have thought if anybody has a fully paid membership of one of these genealogy sites, then I know you can get the name up to, I think, 2007. Last time I looked at it, when I had membership of it, and you can look at marriages, births and deaths. So all you've got to do is look for a birth with the name Madeleine McGann, and I should imagine it's well documented where she came from and where her parents came from. So you can get the registration district, and that's the first course of action with that. See if there was a Madeleine McGann that was actually registered. If there isn't, then that opens up the question, and it adds weight to the possibility that no, this is a totally fictitious character. But of course, there's a lot more to it than that. But there's so much of this arguing in the more in the truth-seeking side, I think, hopefully, than the spiritual side, because the spiritual side should be calmer and more at ease with themselves. You're always going to get, on every level, you're going to get the dark element that is going to try and get in. It doesn't have, in some ways, the same. It can't get to you as easy in the spiritual side as it can on the truth-seeking side, but that doesn't mean that it can't try and get to you and work around people you do come in contact with, because they're not protected against it, because they don't have any understanding of it. And of course, it's all got to come from within. So that person has got to want to find out more, as well as have it put in the idea there. It's then got to germinate. That seed has got to germinate, and it's got to come then from within in them to, well, yeah, if that's wrong, well, what else is wrong? Because some of these things on their own, people are saying, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? Well, because the sheer scale of this, it cannot leave any stone unturned where there might be an inroad to uncovering everything. Because once you start seeing the pattern of you uncover one thing, then it leads on to so much more, no matter what the topic is. And that's something I think very important to think about. And it is related to the spiritual side with the truth-seeking side, because the truth-seeking side is the knowledge of what has happened before and almost reverse engineering it. The spiritual side is showing you what we are and our potential and what we can be, and showing our true power. And Nicole, you mentioned on your video about this worshipping aspect, and even with the celebrities, they're set up as idols and things and looked up to, and it is feeding in an energy. I mean, you can also see where if somebody believes in a particular religion and then something happens, well, there's so many people. If you've got a congregation of, say, 100, well, that collective energy is creating something. And to that person who has that belief system, they will attribute anything good to it being the power of whatever God they want to call it. And you're not going to change their mind from that, because as far as they're concerned, it's proof. But good luck to them, because they're missing out on so much, because they've not looked or done cross-comparison with anything else. I mean, you can't say one religion is right, especially when it contradicts with 99 other religions, because they've all got an element of truth. You can't have a lie without it being based on the truth, whether it be spiritual or history or whatever. There's a parallel to all of this, and I'd like to think I try and sit in the middle between the two, and so I thought I'd talk more about the spiritual side of life, but also putting it into context of the 3D and how that manifests out in the world around us. So we do have the power. I would say something. I think her name's holographic. I'm terribly sorry. I'll have to find the link in the description to the channel. But talking about, or was it Nicole? It got me thinking now, because I was thinking about making this video, and I happened to watch these two first, and I thought, wow, these are related topics, and this is wonderful. But like when you have a child, and if you're two parents, that child is being told by the parents, and then that child is entrusted to a teacher. So a child only doesn't really have much interaction with authority. There's going to be the key figures, and very few of them. Ideally, if you have children and you are on the spiritual journey, the best thing you can do really is homeschool them and get them out of this awful control system. But something else I thought as well, with the dark side, they have this basically a filtering system with education, and then even the lowest levels of any organisation, such as the Round Table, Lions Club, or whatever in the UK, and obviously in the United States, you're going to have your own versions of these community clubs, and you're going to have those that are misled and swallow the official narrative and will willingly just go along with it because they don't see it any other way. But you can guarantee that they'll be watched very closely, that they don't step out of line. So on the equivalent on the light side, like with the truth seeking, you're planting seeds and saying, well, that doesn't make sense when you compare this to that. Um, with the spiritual side, it's dealing with the sort of talking about the outside the physical body, and to some people that is a step too far. Their minds are not in that realm, or they are basically a clone version. But you trying to explain that they're only a projection of their true selves, then that is totally lost on them. But it's too big a jump at this stage. But I think those of us that are on the spiritual path, there's enough of us. We all talk to each other anyway, so we've got a community. In one form or another. Okay, it might be through the internet and it might be through FaceTime and things, but it's still a connection and it's still a tool, and we can still use it. At the moment, the internet is playing up here. At least I do have an admission from the internet provider that there is a serious problem and they are doing all they can to remedy the problem. Yeah, right. Maybe if I was a customer who was investing thousands and thousands in advertising using that medium, I might get a quicker response, because it all boils down to money. But it's an admission, it's a start, and I'm not going to let it faze me. There's no point getting angry over it because it's beyond my control. I can only change the things around me, and hopefully that will send ripples out in the energy form from that. That's the best way I think we can look at this. Otherwise we are becoming angry and then we are creating a negative within ourselves, and that's the one thing we're trying to avoid anyway. So I think we've gone for 17 minutes and 22 seconds now, so that's quite long enough. Food for thought, time to digest. So do have a wonderful day, and another video coming soon. Thank you.